Constantly.
No. What is an in knock? Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't no? Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called that?
That's basically, I mean, all right. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm under a lot of stress already, you know? So I'm just trying to get out of this and get it as easy as
Just what?
You caught me off guard with the question that you asked me. I feel like you're kind of in a setup, I felt kind of set up with that question.
All right, today's case is one of the most uncomfortable courtroom moments we've covered, and it escalates fast. We've got a woman in court, often referred to online as a Karen, who ended up using an extremely offensive racial slur. During a dispute with her neighbor, the judge, determined to hold her fully accountable, makes a controversial decision. He actually asks her to repeat the exact words she used out loud in court, and the entire atmosphere changes in an instant. Now, to be fair, this woman's story is undeniably tragic. She lost both her son and her fiancé in recent years, and clearly, she's been through a lot. But the harsh truth is, personal pain doesn't give anyone the right to spew hate or verbally attack others in public. Grief is not a free pass. For racism or harassment, the moment she says the word in court, you can feel the shift in the room. It's tense, silent, and deeply unsettling. Everyone realizes just how far this incident has spiraled. The judge's decision to confront the issue head-on is bold. Some might say too bold, but it certainly drives the point home. So now I've got to ask, what do you think? Did the judge handle this the right way? Was repeating the slur necessary to expose the severity of what happened, or was it a step too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to hear your take on this one. Let's dive in and watch as the judge puts this woman face to face with the consequences of her words.
0011146 State versus Cynthia Diano. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Defendant for the state of Texas. Yeah, Jeffrey Martinez for defendant.
And are you Cynthia Diano?
Yes.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Diano.
I got it right. Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault bodily injury as a Class A misdemeanor? Range of punishment is anywhere from up to a $4,000 fine and up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, you have to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Oh, you didn't understand that part? Well, so let me explain to you. And then if you don't understand, let me know. I'll help you and your attorney discuss it. So you're entering into a plea bargain agreement with the state. You understand that part? Whatever agreement that you have worked out with the state, I don't have to follow that agreement. So let's hypothetically say they want you to have probation. If I were to tell you, I'm not going to give you probation, I'm sending you to jail, then you can withdraw your plea.
Okay.
Because I have not followed your plea bargain agreement. Now, the conditions for the plea bargain agreement, that's something the court gets to decide. You understand? So if for some reason I don't follow your plea bargain agreement and I try to give you more than what you've bargained for, then you get to withdraw your plea. And it can't be used against you if you decide to go to jury trial. You understand? And by that same token, if I don't follow your plea, then what can end up happening if you withdraw your plea, then the state can say, okay, we're going to have to go to jury trial. We're going to go to jury trial. And maybe they won't be going to jury trial on a Class A misdemeanor. They'll be going to trial on the injury to the elderly. Not maybe, that's what they'd have to do. You understand? All right. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yeah.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into this plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
All right. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason you were to violate your conditions of probation, I could revoke you and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Ms. Diano, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial, and then what will end up happening is the state will present evidence, and then I'll make a decision on whether or not that evidence is sufficient to find you guilty. If I find that the evidence is not sufficient to find you guilty, then I'm going to find you not guilty and say that the state didn't prove its case. However, if there's something else going on between you and this other person, that is not before this court today. That's something else. So, all right, explain to me what's an end knocked? That's in that's in the police report. The officer said suspect 1 stated that victim 1 had end knocked on her door.
And they
I
knocked on their door trying to.
No, I'm asking.
she constantly.
No. What is an end knock?
Going and knocking on a door and running. That's what.
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't no? Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called that?
No, that's just the way they say it.
No, that's the way you say it because that's what you said.
That's what that's basically, I mean, all right. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why.
It's
Why would
not
you
like
call
a
it
race.
that?
It wasn't to be racist. The kids just kept knocking and knocking on my door.
Not a good look at all. We had to mute the audio during that part of the hearing because when the judge asked her to repeat what she said to her neighbor, she said the racial slur, the N-word, out loud and without hesitation. And honestly, that tells you a lot. No hesitation, no discomfort, no second thoughts, just pure confidence. Like it's a word she's used plenty of times before. Now, in some cases, judges will ask a defendant to quote exactly what they said, especially when it's relevant to the charge or needed for the official record. But in this case, it didn't feel like legal procedure. It felt more like an unfiltered window into her true mindset, and it was jarring. The judge gave her the floor, and instead of backing down or showing any regret, she leaned right into it. You could feel the energy in the courtroom shift the moment it happened. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was chilling. Everyone in that room realized they weren't just witnessing a legal matter. They were seeing something much deeper and uglier unfold. And look, I'm not going to sit here and make a definitive call about what's in her heart. But if someone can say a word like that out loud in a courtroom with no remorse, it's hard not to draw certain conclusions. At the very least, it speaks volumes about her attitude and the way she treats people when she's angry. But I want to hear what you think. Do you believe there's ever a reason to repeat language like that in court? Did the judge cross a line, or was this necessary for the sake of transparency? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this one raises serious questions about courtroom ethics, accountability, and what people reveal when the filter comes off. Let's jump back in, because after this moment, she really stops holding.
Constantly doing that to me. They live upstairs. I did not touch this kid, and I really don't even want to sit here and plead to say that I did.
Oh, you can go. We can have a jury trial.
I don't want to do that because he says that's not the best thing to do.
No.
I just lost a child. My son was 19 years old, was murdered just 2 years ago. I'm under a lot of stress already, so I'm just trying to get out of this and get it as easy as
just what?
I'm just stressed out enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So do you want a jury trial?
No, I don't. I just want to get this over with, do the probation and whatever I have to do.
All right. So what was the race of
You asked me that question. If you knew the answer to the question.
what is the race of the complainant?
Hispanic.
Hispanic.
Yeah, everyone's Hispanic in the instance.
Mm-hmm. And if I knew the answer, I don't know why you would say that. That's why I'm trying to figure out why you're saying it, because in the police report, they say you were intoxicated. So I'm trying to figure out.
Intoxicated.
That's what it says in the police report. It says Suspect stated V had knocked on her door and she came outside to see who knocked. And victim's family came down the stairs yelling at her, accused her of hitting the victim. Suspect kept saying she did not want to tell her side of the story and tried to walk away to go inside. I detained suspect to investigate further. And it says in here that there was signs of drinking.
I don't see a crime in drinking in your own home. I was in my own home.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on because I have to set conditions for you. Is this an anger problem? Because they want you to do.
I'm sorry that you caught me off guard with the question that you asked me. I feel like you're kind of in a setup, I felt kind of set up with that question. I understand it's not a word to be used, and I understand that I used it in the wrong word, in a wrong way, and I apologize for that. So I'm sorry.
There's more in here that you said. You're using profanity. I am trying to figure out, because it says suspect had a strong odor of intoxicants on her. I'm trying to figure out why the state is asking for anger management, because they're requesting that you do anger management. They're requesting that you have a TAP evaluation to see if you have a drug or alcohol problem. They're asking for sober support meetings. Sober support meetings are usually for people who have a drug or alcohol problem. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because you told me that the lady, Samantha, had, assaulted you or is still causing problems with you. So I'm trying to read the room and figure out what's going on, and I cannot.
I'm leaving this apartment, so I'm already have gone into a new place to live. I'm leaving on Sunday because the lady kicked my dog the other day, and she got up in my face and stuck her finger in my face and started yelling at me. No, I don't have a drinking problem. Yes, I lost my child on February 5th, 2023. He was murdered by a best friend in a gas station in Austin, Texas. And I lost my fiance 11 days before that. He had a heart attack inside my home. I've been under a lot of stress and frustration. These people don't leave me alone from upstairs. It's a constant fight with this lady. So I'm moving myself away from that environment. I've already lost my job because of her, that I had a job with for 6 years, working from home. And I politely went upstairs and told her, look, I work from home. All they do is they run like a herd of elephants upstairs and basically just annoying people. And that's it. The kid just keeps knocking on my door. They would steal my decorations for my home. I've already complained. So now I'm taking myself out of the environment and just going somewhere else.
To be completely honest with you, I actually do feel a little sympathy for this woman right now. I know some of you in the comments might already be labeling her a full-blown racist based on this one clip, and hey, I get it. The way she spoke was ugly, hurtful, and absolutely not okay. But when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it starts to feel like there's more going on beneath the surface. This is someone who's clearly been through a storm. She lost both her son and her fiancés just 2 years ago. That's not just pain. That's the kind of grief that breaks people. And now she's sitting in a courtroom being questioned, criticized, and essentially picked apart by a judge in front of a room full of people. It's a lot for anyone to handle, especially someone already hanging on by a thread. Now, don't get me wrong. None of that excuses what she said. Not for a second. Grief doesn't give you permission to throw slurs or abuse at others. But it does offer context. What we're watching here doesn't look like cold, calculated hate. It looks like someone who's emotionally spiraling and lashing out in the worst way possible. That said, the consequences still have to land. Because if the law doesn't draw the line clearly, behavior like this starts to slide, and that's not acceptable either. So here's the real question. Is there genuine remorse here? Or is this just another emotional outburst from someone who doesn't want to face what she's done? Let me know what you think in the comments. Should the judge go easy on her because of what she's been through? Or is it time for a hard dose of accountability, no matter how tragic her backstory is? Let's dive back in and see how the judge chooses to handle this.
All right, state, you're requesting anger management and sober meetings?
Sure.
All right, and why are you requesting that?
Seems like that would be beneficial for the defendant to undergo. We're in agreement with the state. We would have to probate the fine on her, as you heard. The defendant has lost her job. She's having to have moving expenses. She's indigent and court appointed, Your Honors. At this time, we would ask to follow the plea and to waive the fine.
So you're fine with anger management and sober meetings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. There's going to be a $500 fine probated, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's going to be 1 year deferred adjudication, 80 hours of community service restitution. I think she needs anger management. I'm going to order anger management. Once she's completed that, then 40 of the hours will be deemed satisfied. And then I'm going to order 60 sober meetings in 60 days. TAP evaluation, that can be out of custody. Follow recommendations. There's going to be field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. There's to be no contact with the following persons: Danny Ibarra, Samantha Coronado, and Brenda Espinoza. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because it's a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right. And Ms. Abrams, see if maybe a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, maybe they can help her with any type of trauma. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me know in the comments how you felt about the sentence in this case, because, honestly, I think it was more than fair. You could really see that Judge Boyd wasn't out for vengeance. Unlike some judges who come in swinging just to make an example, Judge Boyd seemed to strike a thoughtful balance here, holding this woman accountable while also showing a level of compassion that's rare in these kinds of cases. And let's be real, this woman has been through a lot. There's no denying that. But at the same time, there was something a little off about her behavior during the hearing. I don't want to speculate too harshly, but something about the constant face-touching, her scattered responses, and just the overall energy she was giving off raised some red flags. Whether it's emotional instability, substance use, or something else, it was enough to make the judge take notice too. That's probably why Judge Boyd included anger management as part of her sentence. And personally, I think that was a smart call. Because if this is how she reacts in a courtroom with the pressure on but people watching, you have to wonder what happens in a less controlled environment, like a heated argument in a parking lot or at home. Next time, things could spiral in a much more dangerous direction. So here's the big question. Did Judge Boyd get this one right? Or should the court have taken a tougher approach, given the behavior on display? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Below, I really want to hear your take on this. Was this a fair call, or would you have gone harder? And hey, if you're into real courtroom moments and breakdowns like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I post new content every single day, and I genuinely appreciate you for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.